We are back after DRX take on Hanwha Life Esports. It was a very clean win from DRX, so I think Hanwha Life prepared a lot of things, but DRX was so good at going into their prepared compositions. So DRX, their color is reflected on their picks. Misfortune, Zoe, Olaf. They won a very strong laning phase, and DRX managed to pull it off. Hanwha Life Esports, they were waiting for the Tryndamere one-man carry. He got so many shields, however, well, we have to hold on to the very, very late game. But DRX was ready with Ornn, who can be so sustained throughout the laning phase. So it was hard for Hanwha Life Esports to wait till the late game. So Hanwha Life, the key was holding on for the Tryndamere's power spike, but they failed on it. However, there was a super play coming out from the Hanwha side. So, but if you're going with non-AD carry champion, you cannot stop the AD carry champions to accumulate the minion wave and set up for a turret dive. So this was an expected loss on the side of Hanwha, but Lihans made a super play. So, well, DRX bot lane players were accumulating the minion wave and setting up for the bot lane turret dive, and Zoe Olaf was already rotating to the bot lane. However, they looked so flustered when their plan failed, and Hanwha Life bot got the kill instead. But moving on, Pyke was able to stack up kills, and DRX got the whole lead of the game. So Hanwha Life players was trying to take down the Herald, and they did not really having a hard time picking up that Herald. So actually the bot side of the Hanwha Life Esports shouldn't be so aggressive. And DRX, they also didn't feel any big pressure letting Hanwha Life take the Herald. However, Lihans was out of position at that point. There was no reason for him to do so. However, he was outstepping in lane, so the byproduct of his error actually was connected to the Soraka also biting the dust. And then another kill was happening on the blue side of the Hanwha Life Esports jungle camp, because they were aware of where Lihans would be, but Lihans was once again stepping out of his safe zone. Haru was playing around top side, however Lihans was in the jungle of the blue buff, so he had no way out of there, and also another Soraka death coming from Lihans' mistake. So this kind of errors kept snowballing throughout the game, and also we also want to highlight how Keria pulled up such a great and fantastic play. Some people could have worried that Keria was going into dip in the enemy's territory. However, his teamwork with his jungler, and also how bold he can pull up some of the plays and Pyke was on point. He doesn't really play like a rookie. He got so many information about playing around the rift. He looked so experienced. So Lyra wanna claim that Keria is the best support in LCK. Let's check out the POG. And as we expected, it's gonna be Keria picking up POG as Pyke. Well, Vadid saying that he learned a lot watching this game, Keria playing Pyke, because he already watched so many people playing Pyke, especially watching on YouTube, learning from them, but this time around Keria showed another level of Pyke. So if you're nervous on stage, it's really hard to do those kind of flash expectation prediction skill shots, but Keria was so clean executing those plays. Given the information that how young Keria is, and this is his first split as a professional player in LCK, this is just unbelievable how well he pulls up those plays. So another perfect vote for POG. going to Carrier's pocket. We have 12 wards on our voting results screen. And, you know, as an AD carry player, it's actually a bit worrying to have a Pyke as a support regarding the laning phase, but, well, today's game on Pyke was clean as a whistle. And let's check out how the game will go in game number 2.
So 12 out of 12. For Carrier right there. I was actually, like, I was thinking, I was going back to my memory of the draft, and Def did lock in the Pyke.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was an argument for at least one person to have a bit of a Def.
We were joking about what if we came back and there was some people that voted for Def.
Yeah.
Well.
We won't go into it, but very glad to see Carrier picking up all 12. It was a bit of a no-brainer. And now we'll see what happens in the draft, because
what happens if it's a 6-6?
What do you mean?
6 votes or something.
What then there's a deciding vote of one of the referees or something like that, I think, or something. There's one person. There's a swing voter that just comes in.
Okay.
And picks that one off as Hanwha Life banning away the Lee Sin from Pyoshik.
And now DragonX banning away the Yuumi.
I would suspect there won't be too many changes from the ban list of DragonX's side.
Juve can't play Akali. So I wonder if DragonX is just going to leave it open. And we'll see if Hanwha Life... Yeah, wow, we just got the answer right there.
I think Hanwha Life may have banned Akali on blue side before. I think it may have happened. As DragonX is going to ban the Aphelios, respecting it.
Yeah. And now, are we just going to have an Ornn or... Okay, Rumble. Maybe they're going to try a different bot lane approach. Maybe they're going to do Rumble Soraka.
Maybe it'll be Rumble Soraka or the Rumble Senna that we saw used to great effect. It's certainly a favorite of the old Freak of Freaks. Do love the old Rumble. As, okay, DragonX, what is going to be the first round? They could go cool, calm, and collected, grab themselves a priority AD carry and an Ornn, or priority AD carry and a jungler of note. It is once again going to be the curious DragonX Nautilus flex situation that they do love so much. It has worked for them, but it was not a game that we thought they had done fantastically well in the draft with.
Looks like they're talking about a jungle pick.
Jarvan is going to come forward. Already a lot of disruption, and picking the Jarvan away from the Rumble team is intelligent. It does deny that combo. Speaking of combos, Zyra Khan going to come in from Hanwha Life. Means that the Rumble isn't going to be flexed into support like we were assuming it could, and it will be solo lane. Both Tempt and Cuvee do like this champion.
And Ezreal.
Ezreal? Could it be? It is.
So this is not the 10.3 buff patch.
No, it's not.
So this is going to be the, most likely, it's still going to be lethal tempo Ezreal.
Well, currently, Ezreal is 0% win rate in the LCK. Aiming played it once, and it did not work. But Deft, he is a very different Ezreal. And there is no patch, no time in League of Legends where I will ever say that it's wrong for Deft to pick Ezreal. Because he's just that good.
You just need to wait until patch 14.6.
The Deft patch?
The base AD reduced to 1. Scalings are all down.
And then still, Deft finds a way to win.
You know, that would actually be really cool if there was a champion. Well, I'll save that for the wall state, actually.
Okay.
As Senna.
Ooh, thinking about an Ezreal Senna bottom lane. I guess
Senna mid.
Or Senna mid. But because the Nautilus is so flexible, we should definitely not write down that the Nautilus will be heading towards bot lane, which is what we assume for a lot of other teams.
I think they want to choose their top laner here. It might just be Aatrox. Or, okay, Karma. She's finally making her way back. And I'm very glad about this.
And I love Ezreal Karma lanes.
Well, we don't know.
I love them in like a I hate them kind of way.
Could be Karma top.
Yeah, it could be Karma anywhere.
Well, this is what I
but
like.
But this lane
is the
already
flexibility, yes.
is one that has been employed against Zyra Khans in the past.
Yes. It's a very strong champion, and she was recently buffed a couple of times. And if you go in and look at it, if you end up building Karma off tank or utility support, she's really not that different from her heyday last year. So she was most recently buffed in 10.2, and I thought that it meant that everyone was just going to start picking her right away again. But we have seen her now twice tonight. We'll see where she ends up as Aatrox is locked in. DragonX going to respond to this with Mordekaiser, and I do believe Doran was the first Mordekaiser in LCK Summer 2019. Can't tell you the date. My name is not Papa Smithy, but the date, the time, the location of the sun.
Yep, the temperature on that day. What he had for dinner. What was the dosharak for that day? I'm not entirely sure. Dosharak Korean for lunch, by the way, which is what we call our meal that we have between series. Today wasn't super great. I know that you have a different diet because of your allergies.
Yes, sometimes the food here does serve with nuts.
Yeah.
And I'm allergic to nuts. Yeah. So rather than my throat swell and you do a solo cast, I get something from the.
If you were in another profession, I guess we wouldn't mind too much, but you do really need to use your throat in order for this one to work. So coaches are going to bow to one another, and game number 2 is upon us. It's once again a creative draft. This time, DragonX have put themselves together something a little bit different for us today. The Ezreal Karma coming in, the Mordekaiser for the top side, some burly boys in the solo lanes as far as the Mord and the Nautilus, and then Jarvan coming through as well. It's going to be largely on the Ezreal to do damage, and I'm sort of glad that it wasn't the Ornn to be fallen back on, because Mordekaiser late game damage scaling is much higher than that of the Ornn, and I think that they would have been running out of damage if it was just the Ezreal that was in charge of that.
Chobi's going to be in there on the Nautilus in the mid lane. He's always managed to be very stable on it, so let's get into game number 2.
See how it goes. Tempt on his rumble in the mid lane. Didn't get to talk about that really because things started happening too thick and fast in the draft at that stage. And Haru is back on his winning Diana jungle. So far, Diana been pretty fantastic in the jungle department. Coming into today, Haru was the only one with a win, but now Kuz is going to join him. Diana sort of surging towards the top as far as success is concerned. Good to see that the reworked version is competitively viable. I've always been a big Diana fan, just in general.
I like Diana. I was really sad that she originally came out when? 2012.
13?
13? Was it 13? I just remember...
No, 2012 sounds about right, yeah.
There was some time, right? Because Froggen, wasn't he doing the Russian roulette between Diana and Anivia during the OGN Champions?
Ah, yes.
And then he ended up locking Diana because she was broken.
Yep.
And he couldn't decide between her and Anivia. So that's the memory that I have of Diana.
And that's when they got the game 5 against Azubu Frost, right?
Yeah, I do believe so.
In the Champions Final, that was such an exciting final. Casted by our good friend Brendan Valdez.
Really?
Yeah. And I believe Double Lift and Mole Trap.
What?
Memory serves.
Those are
some older names.
Yeah.
Some older names. As Smite comes in from Haru. He steals away some chickens as immediately... Sorry, he takes his own chickens. His red buff was stolen. And now we're going to have Pyosik moving on out. I got a little bit perplexed as to where I was. And eventually figured it all out.
It's fine. And now, talking about both of these team compositions, there was a lot of repositioning on the side of DragonX as well as a lot of mobility. So that's very helpful against the Aatrox as well as the Rumble in the mid lane. Nautilus going to be able to itemize very effectively against the mid-jungle duo, as Tempt also has Barrier, which is very surprising.
Yeah, that is an odd one.
That's a bit, yeah, it's a little strange.
I guess there is, like, inherently, as far as the duo of Jarvan and Nautilus, like upfront damage rather than consistent damage. So theoretically, you could get some value by popping the barrier after you get CC'd. I don't know. Maybe just celebrating the fact that there's no Pyke to deny the shields.
He's not looking at his own camera. Pioshik, the ward did dissipate on top of him. And now he's going to go over to his Raptor camp. And now, because he only has 12 CS, everyone knows where he is. Diana, she has a very, very slow clear, by the way. That just took her, she finished around, what, 310 on a 4-camp clear. That is so slow.
Yeah, that ain't great.
For perspective, Karthus and some other junglers, Karthus can finish at 305.
Just like how every jungle stat is just Karthus, like every time. No shame. You have no shame.
You know what his flash art is, right? Like the angry skeleton face? Yeah, that's me.
That's you. Oh, I really wish Karthus started with an L or an S, I'll tell you that much. Oh, God. Well, Haru also having a disrupted start, not able to go towards the rep up as Lehens diving on in, but Keria offering so much damage back. Haru is in the area, but I don't think they've softened this bottom lane quite enough. Still, heal available, flash available, exhaust on cooldown. Is Keria maybe a little bit too far forward? Inspiration as Haru just here to try and get to a reset, I guess. But Pioshik's going to come down unseen on the ward. Decides not to invest the flash. I thought he might be able to get a double knock up there, but doesn't go for it.
He's ruined the lane.
It's still pushing, yeah.
I just came really close to an F-bomb. I have no idea what I just watched. You just lost your bot lane, the entire lane.
What? Well.
What?
Pioshik also now knows exactly where Haru is and is aware of his level advantage. Haru does get a little popcorn chicken and is able to at least even out that level range. Doran,
the bot lane is miserable right now, and Diana can't pass back down there because of the jungle spawn. So Pioshik right now gonna try to solo this Infernal Dragon. Let's see if Lehens can sniff this out.
Well, Lehens actually was spotted on the sweeper of Pioshik, as you saw.
Yeah.
Putting that control ward down, didn't have an extra ward to put into that pit because he hadn't completed the quest yet.
And then after this, because of the proximity of Drake towards bottom, Vista and Lehens, they're going to respect this, but this is such an insufferable spot. Double longsword versus Sheen on Ezreal. And now Lehens, even while he's approaching this control ward, they have to respect that Jarvan could be in close proximity.
Well, the slight buffs to Inspire certainly seem good here for Keria, who's used it to great effect quite often as Chovy. Proccing Aftershock on Nautilus, not something that's difficult to do. Helpful here, as you, of course, can't interrupt the Flame Spitter. It's Chovy trying to spread that damage over time before pressing his E button.
Yeah, it's definitely extremely strange.
Alright, Lehens just going to share in a bit of that damage. There's Def, yeah, with the Sheen picked up, the classic early I want to win this lane purchase. Currently double the CS of his opposition, plus some change. As far as total gold is concerned, Chovy and Def just sharing. And one thing that I find really cool about this new DragonX is that we have probably two of our best farmers in the game, Chovy and Def, now on the team. Because they love their red dots, man. They just somehow have huge CS advantages, no matter what their matchups are. If you remember back to Chovy's Jace game, I think it was towards the end of summer. It was just the most absurd CS margin that I've ever seen. It's not based on his like lane opponent or anything. He's just like found more minions than he should have been able to.
Yeah. Chovy is one of the most stable players in the LCK. Always super consistent.
Yeah. And Deft is another person who's been explained exactly the same way. Which is why we had such high hopes for this squad, right? As Doran, Wooly. feeling as great, but able to use that W in order to get himself back up to at least an acceptable health range before he goes home. Hadn't actually reset yet. I actually assumed that was after he'd gone back because he was looking for a recall earlier. But he's still losing by quite a considerable amount. 2 waves at least against this Aatrox, who's already gone for that recall.
Bottom lane, though, down about 30 CS at the end of everything. And remember, there's the Infernal Dragon that was picked up as well, so a little bit. Okay, that was a nice.
That hurt a lot.
Rush, yeah.
Because Lehen's walked into it, which is subpar. I'm hearing Casterjun losing his mind, because he may have identified the same thing. Chovy popping on over, but you can see this is a very scared Hanwha Life bottom lane.
Oh, did they?
Oh, that's very cute. I don't think they saw it.
Well, we're going to find out if they saw it in a second, as Pyosik has the ability to check it. And, you know, he might even actually blast cone over, and then unintentional.
It's going to be flagged first just to check.
Okay, they're just going to actually give that up because Nautilus...
I actually think it's smart because Doran cannot leave this lane,
yeah.
Right? And Cuvée
Doran
has
can't, and
absolute
inside
track, yeah.
Also, it does look like it's going to be Protobelt first here. What?
It's 80 CS to 40 in the bottom lane.
Just leave him alone, Atlas. You stop picking on him. Pick on someone your own size. Okay?
I don't think any of the players are big enough. Large man.
Alright, well.
Anyway, not picking on him. I'm just saying that like this is a bit of a bottom lane masterclass happening right now, and you can see exactly why the Karma and the Ezreal were picked in tandem. Because honestly, this is a combination of champions that we used into a much stronger variation of that. As, okay, Tempt getting it turned around on. Great bait to come through from Chovy as he says, my work here is done. But the Cataclysm flashed out of the way of there from Tempt. Gets himself his scrap shield. The flash in from Lehens is optimistic. The carrier comes up, picks up that kill, and secures the assists for Chovy and Pyosik. And he's not done yet. Looking to try and clear out this wave. There's the Moonfall. Fair bit of extra damage, but Haru, that is a big bite. As now Pyosik looking for it. Another auto is going to be necessary. So many shields, and Pyosik was, oh my god! Turns it at the last second. The W going to be there for carrier, but isn't going to activate in time, and Jarvan will fall, but it's a valiant death in the end after securing the kill I thought was going to be impossible.
I don't know why Haru went back in.
Yeah.
I'm a little stupefied right now, Atlas, so you're going to have to forgive me on this one. But let's take a look at the replay. Chovy locks him up inside a turret range with that anchor. And then Pyosik comes in. He's holding his R, waiting to see if Tempt would end up flashing. He does flash away Lehens, coming to cover him, but then Kyria here as well with the tether, as well as the Q coming out of Karma. And now watch this. Haru goes in, gets exhausted right away. Tether applied by Karma. Haru makes it out. And then I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, I mean,
It's odd. I mean, I guess like he wasn't expecting Pyosik to be able to click on him that fast.
The kill was,
I mean, yeah.
It was Aatrox's.
Yeah.
Every day of the week.
Look, you win some and you lose some. That was just honestly greedy from Haru. Did not need to suffer that death. And Cuvée now has the most gold in the game.
Yeah.
And it's only going to continue to get higher.
So they're trading right now turret plates up here in top lane for the Cloud Dragon, which Pyosik is about to pick up here. As, okay, well.
Mountain Soul going to be the Drake of choice. Probably not what DragonX wanted. Ocean Drake would have been pretty damn good for this composition. Being able to play around the Ezreal poke very effectively as Pyosik once again going to pay a visit to the mid lane, but they knew Haru was in the area. They don't hard commit. Doran trying to trade with Cuvée as best he can. Gather this wave together and take it down. That CS gap has slowed down as a control ward now spotted out here from Pyosik. And in goes Haru. Does have the Moonfall, uses it to pull Pyosik back here, and I just don't think he's going to have a way out. He doesn't. Haru just going to solo him down. Not going to allow the rest of his team to join in on that kill, proving himself after the little blunder earlier.
And he is also going tank J4. Been seeing that a lot more often than the full attack damage Jarvan.
Yep, I think this might be like the hybrid J4 as QV just bouncing around here. Death Realm not going to be used, but of course it's a dangerous one. Doran having to get out of the way of the last Q with his flash just shows how much control QV has had. And after QV's most recent performance, it's great to see him back in a bit of form here on the Aatrox, really demanding respect.
Deft and Kyria now have taken down 3 plates. Deft probably really wants the 4th one.
God. Oh, he just finds the Q, sneaks it through the minions. He'd already channeled the ultimate because he wasn't expecting it to actually connect.
Even Chovy thinking it's a little happy. Deft with a bit of a grin on his face.
Yeah, there's a wry smile on this little alpaca's face right here. Very happy to be playing his Ezreal and to be destroying the lane like this is certainly very Deft-esque.
Remember, Deft is probably the best Ezreal in the LCK.
Yeah, it used to be between
probably actually the
him
best
and Bang,
in the
as
world.
now Lehens is possibly dead. I think so too. I've always been of the mind that Deft has been the best Ezreal. But I guess now he's almost unrivaled because we had a few fantastic Ezreal players. I mean, Prey was also a pretty damn good one. As going to check out Deft's preview. It was honestly an afterthought, that Q. I think he was actually,
you know
as you hear Caster John in the background. The hype man through and through, absolutely.
You know what I love on these pro views?
What's that?
Is there's a small percentage of people that are like, why is he spamming? Why is he clicking so much? He doesn't need to do that.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. That's silly. Dredgeline was channeled, but Chovy still has to walk down the red carpet, opts out of it with a flash. His only way of escaping is now QV going aggressive against Doran, but the Death Realm's in, and these obliterates are starting to land. The passive damage really tearing through the Aatrox, and they trade it back.
Mordekaiser, he has the Haunting Guys now. Haunting Guys has the Madness passive, 10% increased damage to everything.
And he's got a Bramble Vest.
And
he's just built purely for the lane.
Turns out that Mordekaiser, once he starts spiking, there's not much that Aatrox can actually do.
And this is the mid game. Yeah, this is the mid game that we are largely scared of. If you're a Hanwha Life fan, this is where Deft has been unlocked, and now he's just going to fire Mystic shots at you, one after the other, until you just die. Okay, there's the Death's Grasp, and Doran's going to be pulled back by Haru. Not a lot that he can do here. Pressing the W pretty aggressively, but it's just not going to be enough. Can't get through all of those health bars before his own has been dissipated. But in the meantime, it is buying space for the DragonX bottom lane to get to work on this outer turret.
And interestingly enough, Deft's Ezreal is very akin to a Caitlyn in the sense that it just keeps rotating and taking turrets.
Yeah.
Over and over. As his Mystic shots, I mean, they may as well not even be a skill shot.
He was expecting Vista to take the left-hand route.
Yeah.
But didn't decide to do so.
Leandri's Torment almost completed now for the Mordekaiser. Leandri's Torment also completed on the Rumble. So, very nice to see this item.
Yeah.
Instead of some other sinful items that end up getting picked up sometimes. But
also extraordinarily powerful on both of those champions. That Moonfall was very close to not hitting Doran, which, judging by how the rest of this fight actually concluded, might have been very relevant, as the mid-outer turret eventually does fall. The other Ezreal, I guess, that is of note is Teddy's Ezreal, and I love how both Deft and Teddy play very differently on the champion. Teddy was more of the blue Ezreal Iceborne Gauntlet player who liked to control team fights using his Ezreal, whereas Deft is the I want to build Trinity Force and kill you Ezreal player. As now Vista has been exhausted, Keria has found him, Chovy also looking for it, but they needed to wait for the Feather Storm. They do eventually, as Lehens has to watch his friend die. QV finds a sweet spot on one Q, but not the rest of them as the Death's Grasp goes wide. Deft looking for more, does still have flash and heal available, and that is a very dead QV. Point blank Mystic shot will be enough to take him down, and in the meantime, Pioshik's just taking a dragon This is the DragonX we were expecting moving into 2020, given this roster.
What Cube was actually trying to do right there, for people that might not realize, because they might be wondering, he doesn't have flash, what he's doing. There is a way to Umbral Dash through that spot in the Raptor pit.
Oh, really?
You can make it through with Aatrox. Yeah, there's very thin spots on both this one and the one on the other side. Lots of people don't know about it.
Oh, that's cute.
So,
because it looks fatter than it actually is. Is that how it works?
I've seen some pro players even be surprised, saying, "Oh, I didn't know Aatrox could do that there." But there are spots in the Wraith pit that Aatrox can fit through with the Umbral Dash.
We're having a look at it here. You'll see at the end that Cube does move on over, trying to get him into that position, as Vista just has no right to be pulled up this far. I like that Vista did understand that the tether by the W is it's not worth using your ultimate to get out of the way of that part. You need to wait until the end, then use it to reposition. But unfortunately, there are 4 members of DragonX here.
You can,
he was
trying to get there, trying to hug the wall, trying to find the spot, not able to do so. And right now, DragonX, they are just so far ahead, and they're threatening Mountain Soul.
Yeah, Mountain Soul in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, 24 minutes is so early, and also, against this team composition of Hanwha Life, getting those extra resistances when Nautilus already builds resistances, you have full tank J4, you have resistances on Chovy as well, it's definitely feels good, man. Now, Ezreal doesn't have the Iceborne Gauntlet, that's fine.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is Trinity Force. I'm in a destroy on 2 items, and I may not even buy a 3rd because the game might be over.
Yes.
That's the style to be played in this game. It's the optimal choice because that's what DragonX were going for with how they've drafted and with how they've controlled the majority of this game. Just shutting Hanwha out. Hanwha's comp, theoretically, does a lot of, what a general LCK composition would do, right? You think of LCK, you think of, we're going to make a balanced draft that can play towards a late game and win that one team fight, get a Baron, and win the game,
Yep.
Whereas DragonX have decided, nope, we're going to end this game by about 27-odd minutes, and it's going to feel real good. And that's what Karma Ezreal allow you to do on the bottom side. I guess they do have some late game insurance with a front-to-back composition that can play around a mid lane. Nautilus is now Cube. Doesn't find the first Cube, but will find the second as Doran puts someone in the death realm. I believe it's Haru, yes, as he's starting to take damage. The Obliterate, that looked like a Proto-Bell, but I think it might have been just a flash. Looked very, very odd as now Doran hunting for Cube. He has the Leandries. He's doing so much work here. Is the W back up? No, it's not. Big cooldown on that one, but he's bought time for Def to make his way down. Spots out this Aatrox and even lands the E somehow as Cube trying to turn it onto Carrier here, but Arcane Shift will allow the outplay of the Infernal Chains. Nowhere that Cube was going. And a 1-for-1 trade, top laner for top laner, is the result.
Yeah, and that was really good. They also got the flash out of Haru. They spent, they absorbed so much time right there, and so.
Also actually sent Haru back, so basically took up the space of 2 people's time in that particular play. And now Deft and Carrier underneath this turret continue the siege. Deft with a shield on him as well, my goodness. Red buff is why he got that turret aggro. It's True Shot Barrage looking for Vista, finds him, but the heal is invested. This player is so scared right now, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, he elected to use heal instead of just his R, which would be a shorter cooldown. And so
sometimes you just
I think he's just panicked, yeah.
freak out.
That was probably his instincts. Just going for the heal as the default. And Temp just instantly shoving back a wave right now. And really, if you're a Hanwha Life fan, there's not much that you can really look forward to in this game. The Ezreal, you're not going to be able to get on top of him. The Xayah so far behind.
2.3k damage on this Xayah. For the champion that you look at as a hyper carry, that is certainly not what you want. As looks like more of Malmortius on the way here for Deft. Will have himself the 30% CDR from these items thus far. Not entirely sure what he has as far as runes. It might actually be towards that 45 coveted percent.
And it looks... Dude.
Haru just caught out of position. He knew that he had full vision there as the equalizer comes down. Maybe the time for a return as Lahens gets in through the backside, and this is a team fight for real. Def does go down, he takes the AD carry with him, and now DragonX just piling on in. Cuvee getting obliterated and destroyed. The passive from the Mordekaiser are now walking down Tempt. They are just too far behind, and even if you do use everything to kill Deft, it's just not enough as Chovy gets slowed by the Harpoon. And I have a feeling that should be enough. Mountain Soul now on the order as that max range depth charge just not quite enough.
Chovy just wanted a hug.
He did.
That's all that he wanted. Oh man. You know what? The robot, Nautilus, is walking there with his big robotic suit, and he thought that Rumble was another robot.
Aww,
and so
and he wanted to
he just wanted a little hug, and then Rumble, the actual Yordle, was like freaking out.
I've got like Big Hero 6 feels right now.
Yeah.
I love that movie. As Haru didn't love this moment. When the equalizer went down, I thought this is really cool, splitting the team fight, but honestly, they all dived for Deft, and in the meantime, everyone's taking AoE damage from everywhere. The Flag and Drag got a double knock-up, and all of this cacophony of action that you can put into the middle of a team fight with the likes of the Mordekaiser and the Nautilus just makes it so hard for Hanwha to target out one person and then recover.
And also, Hex Drinker on Ezreal now going for the Maw of Malmortius as his
Chovy
MR
found
item.
that one. Depth charge comes in and he allows Baron to give him a hand. Lahen's caught out. You just can't be pushed up that far. Oh.
I think this game is over.
I think it is over as well, as a teleport to come in. Deft playing with his food underneath this turret right now. Doesn't find that Mystic Shot as Pyoshik presses his R button. Flags, drags, gets out. Cuvee gonna go, but Doran finding a couple. The Haru picking up one kill on Pyoshik. But now goes Golden and will be falling. Deft with the double kill. Vista, just get the heck out of there. Cut the losses. As DragonX, they could move towards a Baron right now. They could do basically whatever they want. It's only the bottom lane left alive, and it's Lahen's limping back from the death chamber.
Yeah. Now the Baron has been started. They're going to be able to pick this up pretty quickly here. And then with the Baron, I can only imagine that all it's going to take is one shove.
Yeah. This might have actually been the debut champion for Doran. The Mordekaiser. I know that it was,
yeah, it was
Griffin that... but was it... I know Griffin debuted it, and it was Doran that played it, but was it in his first game? It might have been also in his first game.
I think so, against Aurelia?
Yeah, something like that.
It might have been, yeah.
Okay, very cool. Anyway, he's been piloting it very, very well so far this game, despite Cuvee certainly having some moments as we check out this dive. Wasn't the cleanest. Taru was able to pick up one kill, but honestly, DragonX is so far ahead, it almost feels unfair to talk about these fights as 4 versus 4, 4 versus 5. This currently was a 5 versus 3, which is always going to go in favor of the 5, especially when they've got so much more money than their opposition.
Yeah. This is definitely...
Oh, boots of swiftness.
Yeah.
From this Ezreal.
He wants to move fast.
Yeah.
And Ezreal is one of those AD carries that can be creative with his boot choice.
Ooh, somehow Haru was picked off by that dredge line. As Mystic Shot lands as well, a few more of those, and that is a dead Haru bot. Once again, the Zhonya's is employed, and Deft needs to get back with his team. He survives for so long. The lifeline passive working out as Pyoshik grabs one kill, but now Vista finding the auto attacks in the backline. Doran only just making it to this fight as he flashes to get on in. The Death Realm now going to be put in and does even things out. But Pyoshik going to get chased out of this fight. Tempt trying to get out of there as now. Doran, can you 1v2? Is the question. The answer is most definitely a yes. As now Haru not wanting to jump back on this one. Cuvee burning down. The obliteration going to come in, and the World Ender not going to be enough at all. Doran pulls him back with the Death's Grasp.
And they are, I mean, this is...
It's going for a really long time, LS. Is
Leandres?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be... Oh, it does! It ticks down! Another obliteration comes in, and the passive activation as well.
3,100 gold in the shop. You too can purchase that item.
And also for $9.75, you can purchase the King of Clubs Mordekaiser skin as well. My personal favorite, and one as an homage to that glorious performance of DragonX's Doran.
And you can locate it next to the bookstore. We take a look, Def getting really over-eager here. Just going in a little bit too fast. Ends up falling, and Def used to do this a lot.
Oh yeah.
In the past, he would get way too aggressive.
Limit testing. Yeah.
Probably
not the time to do it.
Ended up dying at, unfortunately, a really key point. This could have just been the end of the game if they just took it a little bit slower, so they bit off a little bit more than they can chew.
And Doran is just absolutely ignoring everything that these guys are doing. He's just pressing his W whenever he has it active. Utilizing that shield very well. Not the immediate double tap, which is what you do when it's a passive situation, as then Leandries wears down onto Haru.
It's a great item.
Yeah, and in the end, it's actually a 4 for 4 as the dust settles. But certainly, I mean, if it... I know we were talking about Doran at the end of that, right? And that was a great play from him. But he saved what was a disaster for DragonX. So back to the drawing board a little bit. Only one of those Barons did remain. 2.5 minutes now on the clock, and they weren't able to utilize that Baron to do anything. So maybe just cool your jets a little bit, DragonX. True Shot Barrage only finds Tempt, and a Scrap Shield soaks most of it. Chovy's real tanky. Just walking in front of 3 people and not worrying about it too much at all.
Well, seems like they're just going to give the red buff to Deft here. They might just pick up the Elder Dragon, aka the best neutral objective.
Yeah,
it's the best buff in the game.
Oh my god, Chovy finds another dredge line, but Haru, that Zhonya's button is getting pretty worn out, and Pyoshik makes his way out with his flag and drag. Now Chovy dashing into the back line there, gets the Feather Storm out of Vista, and it's like he's soloing down the 80 carry, flashing towards him now. All of the damage, another dredge line comes in, and DragonX, it was a bit of a whoopsie in the last team fight. That was a triple kill for the Ezreal. And they will just win the game here. Another 2-0 today. This one very close to being sub 30 minutes. I thought it was going to be a 28-minute game, but there was a slight whoopsie.
You said sub 30. They might just do it.
Hey, they might. These Nexus turrets going down very quickly. They've got 8 seconds on the clock. 5 seconds to go.
Deft
6.
Trying to make
Can they do it? One more. The 50 gold goes in at 29:59 on the dot. It's a real fast series here. CV Max very happy with how Def played that one out, and a sheepish grin on Def's face as well, because he knows he may have overstepped a little bit on one of those engages.
And so the game could have ended a little bit faster had it not just been for the over-eagerness of Def inside of that Baron push. But nonetheless, an immaculate performance by DragonX, coming out here with a very powerful 2-0. Tonight was the night of 2-0.
It was, and this has happened.
We're not
this happened
used to
last
this.
week. No, this happened last week. We had 6 games, 2-0, 2-0, and then I believe it was like 6 games, 2-0, 2-0, and then 6 games again. I don't remember you and Valdez's 2 nights exactly, but I know we haven't had a 5-game night once.
Oh yeah. Oh.
It's been either 6 or 4, and that has continued.
Yes.
As Pyoshik being adorable for the camera. Just looks so young, LS. He makes me feel very, very old. Does young Pyoshik down there?
No comment.
Yeah, thanks for that. Please refrain. Boomers are people too, okay?
All right, well, DragonX backing up on the stage. Chovy has...
He had an incredible game as well, actually.
Another game of
all memes
Anonymous.
aside,
Also played as Zoe.
All memes aside, I actually think MVP could go to either Chovy or Deft right here, and I don't mind which one it is.
I just think it's Deft.
I think it's Deft too. He completely slaughtered his lane, almost by himself. But still, I mean, Chovy had some pretty fantastic Nautilus mechanics, which is something that we don't talk about all that often. Carrier still being very good on the Pike. On the Pike, and the Karma was also very good.
If Def does get the MVP here, it means that we will have a bot lane.
Yeah, the bottom lane to talk to in the MVP interview, which will be very interesting. Tell you what, though, the reason why we're talking over each other a little bit, we're feeling a bit flustered, is that we're so happy that we've witnessed some good League of Legends here today. Yesterday was so sad, and today, I know there were crushing defeats for 2 teams, but it was a creative draft from Hanwha, dissected and destroyed by DragonX. Things that weren't like you go into the game and you're like, oh, well, this is over already. You know, it was one team played just way better than their opponents.
Yeah.
It wasn't their opponents played so poorly that this other team, no matter who they were going to win, right? Which is what some of the moments felt like yesterday. And this was just some pretty clean League of Legends out of T1 and DragonX as we have a look at the replays here. This comboing from Chovy actually using auto resets on Nautilus.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he had auto resets that you could utilize like that.
Oh, the anti-synergy of the Jarvan Cataclysm. Canceling Chovy's Q right there. And then Haru, I mean, Haru had a couple of Leroy moments this game, I'll be honest with you. One of them is coming right up. As Haru, he's out, and then he's like, but I'm in.
And Lehens is like, dude, like, I just gave you 2 shields to keep you alive. I just finished dashing to you, and you just do that to me. Like, no. He was doing a lot of things around the map, though. I think he ended up with quite a few kills. And although some of these fights were starting on him as Deft threads the needle. Yeah. That little minion right there let Vista down. Straight up. He was just... it looked like he was clicking very close to his champion. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it was a bit of a massacre.
It was.
In the early to mid transition, and this was really nice to see.
What I liked,
fresh air.
Yeah, what I liked was that both of these games were stomps, right, from DragonX, but they did it in 2 very different ways. Yes, the games ended very quickly, but the last one was Pike and the dissection of this designer comp that didn't quite work. This was our bottom lane, smashed lane so hard that we're going to be able to completely play around it. They were able to do so. They even accelerated Chovy and then moved Deft into that lane against a Rumble that couldn't really wave clear against him. And then they were able to just systematically ruin the map to the point where there was no way back in for Hanwha, despite Cube having one of his better performances, especially in a solo 1v1 against Doran's Mordekaiser, which is one of our better ones here in the LCK, like we were talking about during the cast.
It definitely is, and I mean, he really showed off a really good performance on it here. Death Realm, Doran really quick to turn back around. Haru could have ran for the hills, and then Cube could have made it out, but they really wanted to kill him here. As Doran, I mean, there's no better general manager for Leandri Sale than...
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think he got that outfit?
I feel like if you're buying stock, I get it now. Because it's only going to go up in value.
I'm just waiting for Riot to buff Morel and Omicron. That's all I'm waiting for.
It actually, it's going to completely just eliminate all healing. That's what it's going to do. Just
they buff it to
no
80%.
more healing. Yeah.
Something would have to go on with it.
Yeah. I actually think that Morel and Omicron is a great item to build.
You said what?
It's a great item to build at specific junctures in a game.
I can't hear you right now.
But not an item that you should ever build by default.
I think your headset's
That's what you've also recommended the Forbidden Book in certain moments against champions like the Soraka.
Those are doctored audio clips.
It was today. My memory isn't that
That wasn't
bad.
me. On the desk. That was...
Oh, well. This was an absolute treat of a series. I know not exactly the longest as Deft will pick up the MVP. I wonder whether it was 12 out of 12. Might have been. Could have been close. Should have been close. Maybe a couple going over to Chovy. But he played just exceedingly well. And
I mean, that Q really was very nice.
yeah.
Even had Chovy smiling when it did happen. This was a tower dive that was very well orchestrated by DragonX. Vista not able to really get there. It's sort of like loading up a Vista computer nowadays.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing. If you're running Vista, obviously you're a boomer like me. And it's not really what you want. I'm pretty sure it auto updates to Windows 10. So maybe look out for the name change. But no, Vista's had some great games in the LCK so far.
Yeah.
These were not any of them. I think the Vista did actually impress me a lot last week, and hopefully he can turn around what was a disappointing performance here today and give us something more. Because, you know, they managed to take down, as a bot lane duo, Teddy and Effort.
Yeah, they did.
And that is no mean feat. So very impressive. And speaking of bottom lanes, we're going to talk to DragonX's after they both picked up MVPs. So here is Jason for the translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason with the Universe Translation, and we'll be hearing from the bot laners, Kyria and Deft from DRX. DRX is unstoppable, especially you guys got 2-0 victory finally. So how are you feeling right now? Hanwha Life Esports always go with fun draft, so we were a bit worried for it. However, they did show it in game number 1, but we were able to fight against it really well, so I'm really happy. Kyria, like, you look so emotionless, you look so calm, cool-headed, but I guess you were a bit worried as well. Because, well, looking at last year, well, Lihans was the best support in Korea, so I think I was a little bit nervous. Deft. Kyria. Are you happy with him? Yes, I think I'm happy. I can read it from your face. Well, the rookies are taking all the POGs. Weren't you a little bit sad? Well, you know, getting their confidence boosted with POG is actually good for me, so I try not to get POG, but, well, I accidentally got one today, I guess. So game number 1, the mind game between around the draft was really intense. So was there any adjustment seeing the whole composition of Hanwha Life Esports? Well, we were thinking for the support pick, and nothing much was left, so we just went with the confident pick, a Pyke. Well, you did die in the early phase of the game, however, you guys were coming back, popping off, picking up double kills and so on. How were you able to kind of pull off such a bold place? I got Deft, my AD carry, and I also believe that I am the best. So let's check out the double kill moment that I just mentioned. So you followed Lihans with flash, so was that predicted or your just fast reaction? I mean, I played Pyke for so many games, so I mean, this is just the basic skills. I just predicted that Lihans will flash in that direction. Deft, Ezreal. Well, it's not a favorite ADC in these days. How do you rate this champion currently? Because MF Aphelios is the mainstream, but they took Xayah and Rakan, so I was actually we're feeling really comfortable locking him in. So you still agree Aphelios MF is the top tier right now? Well, as for Misfortune, it can be a bit controversial, but Aphelios, yeah, nothing really there's no match for Aphelios. Skill shot on Ezreal was so accurate, so let's check out his highlight here. Did you kind of expect that? I was just like trying to poke and take him down with my ultimate when he was going base, but my Q landed and he died. But we saw a mic check. You weren't really happy. I mean, like, you were so careless. You weren't really happy. Well, that is my expression of happiness. Is that how he expresses his emotion like that? I actually haven't seen him expressing his happiness, so I don't know. And a lot of people say, like, you don't even breathe when you're doing damage. Is that true? So a lot of people told me so. I thought it, and I kind of don't breathe. Yeah, I think that's true. I kind of breathe after I'm done with the team fight. DRX on the 3 matches win streak. And finally, you guys got a clean win. Well, I guess you guys did have a day off during Monday and Tuesday, so what kind of feedback went back and forth? Is there any special method to get relaxed? We actually do not have a day off. We are on a tight schedule, so we are just like doing our work. Once again, congratulations on this win. And it was like the collide, the best support in LCK. So how was today's match? I think I still have a long way to go. I will work hard. And Deft, the expectation around the bot lane is so high. What's your goal for the split? This split is so important to me, but you know, Keria, I've been practicing with him since last year, and I felt that he really want to show what he got to the fans. So I will do my best to help him show how good he is, help him show his prowess. So this will be the end of the interview with Keria, Deft, POGs from game number 1 and 2, and I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ji-sun, for your interview translation. I was actually trying to take a bit of a photo of the screen because Def just looked like such a proud father looking at Keria here on the stage after his POG performance. It was great out of the bottom lane. They played exceptionally well, but the thing that's scary about DragonX is that last time we saw them play, we were talking about Pyoshik having an absolutely incredible performance.
Yeah.
We've spoken about Chovy for a year and a half before 2020 as being one of our best mid laners, if not the best, as far as consistency is concerned anyway. And Doran certainly coming into his own here today as well. And DragonX move up to a deserved equal first place alongside the Afrika Freaks. Gen.G can, of course, get up there with them and can push ahead if they win their next matchup. Yet to see them. We'll see them tomorrow. For Friday's games, they'll be up against Damwon Gaming. Damwon could ruin their day. If Gen.G win 2-0 though, they will be outright ahead. And that is going to be that matchup as Griffin and APK Prince, our two bottom rung teams. Although Griffin have found themselves one win, I think, which has put them ahead of KT at this stage.
Well,
but coming into this week, they were both out 0-4 as far as game wins.
That's going to be certainly a way to close the bottom of the standings, because whoever does end up winning that, you'll flip.
Yeah.
And then from there...
And also, remember, like, Griffin did win that Sandbox series, but it made everyone really sad. It's not going to be sort of, I guess, a judgment point that we're going to make. And if Griffin are able to win against APK very convincingly, then we will be able to start talking about them then as being middle of the table. But guys, a very quick night tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you for more LCK action when we get to the middle of the week tomorrow for Friday's games. Be on the lookout for Gen.G trying to get towards the top of the standings. But for now, good night.
And I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need.